Good evening, everyone. My name is Marpessa Allen, and I am with YbY Early Learning. And I am the Community Engagement Specialist here with YbY. And we have started here in the last 2 months what we call our community workshop. So we're still getting used to our workshops and just want to make sure that we're providing information and activities for you and your families with young children, young students, young minds, with just some resources on how to support you better. YbY Early Learning is a mobile preschool here in currently in Aurora, Colorado. And what we do is mobile in mobile settings have small classrooms with early childhood age students, just teaching them in a holistic manner, and which has now spun into why we have launched our community workshops, because we think that we can extend the conversation not just in the classroom, but also to our existing families and then the community at large on some of the things that we are passionate about and we hope are helpful for you all. So tonight we are going to be talking about, since the holidays are upon us, Halloween, which is would have been a great time to also start talking about um, healthy habits and healthy ways that we can continue to navigate maintaining health without having to feel like you have to forfeit altogether the holiday traditions of eating and having a good time with family. So, what I tried to do today in this workshop about the holidays and healthy eating, especially for young people, we'll talk about some of those obstacles that exist, some strategies that you can use, and then just a refresher of what we talked in our last session about some basics to remember about the updated recommendations for nutrition. And hopefully, you feel like you learned some new information and some ways that you can have a good time and have fun around nutrition. So, I would like to start with a quiz here. And this is just for you in your head. If you would like to, this is a good friend of mine. Hi, Aziza.
Hi, my family's a little loud, but I wanted to come support. How are you doing tonight?
I'm well, I'm well. Thank you for jumping on. I know it's late where you are.
It's all good. I wanted to support, so I'm excited
Oh,
to see.
well, thank you so much. But if it's loud, no problem. You can just listen. If you can chime in, you can even hit the chat.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I was actually just getting started talking about the holidays and how we can have healthier habits when it comes to the holidays and some recommendations, some strategies to use, but all grounded in having fun and not feeling the pressure for our young children to not, I guess, like harbor or feel any type of resentment about the holiday when it comes to food, but just creating newer habits or ways of thinking for our children.
I
So,
love it. Awesome.
yay. So I feel like we are kindred parents in this manner, but I wanted to, if you wouldn't mind taking this quiz, since one of our participants is not unable to unmute at the time. Would you like to take this little quiz, this little
Yeah,
survey?
I'll take the quiz. Let me go. I'm gonna go to the quieter area. Okay, good. All right. Okay, yes, I will take the quiz. I'll turn my camera on too. I
Oh,
might not be.
sweet. See your pretty face.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Okay.
Well, first of all, what are the ages of your children again?
So I'm used to them being little. Now they're all big, right? Okay, so youngest to oldest, 10,
Mm-hmm.
12, 14, and 15.
Okay, sweet. I think I'll be leveraging a lot of because we're around the same sweet spot when it comes to age range. I think I'll also
Mhm.
just be leveraging some of your experience because I feel like you can, well, I know you can offer some insight on this too, if you don't mind. But let
Of
me ask you
course.
this so I can see baseline your philosophies on food.
Okay, okay. I know we have some similarities. I might not go as hard as you do in some areas, but all right, I'm all for it. Let's go.
Okay, let's do it. So, do your children consume sugary drinks daily?
Okay, so we don't do sodas. We usually don't even do juice. Sometimes outside family members they'll bring in some stuff. We might do a homemade lemonade some days, but like processed sugary drinks, that's usually a no. If they do get something, it's like a special occasion now. Like if we get a soda, it has to be cane sugar, no high fructose corn syrup, and we keep the processed stuff to a minimum, but we will do some lemonade with dinner usually. So, yes, some sugar, but not the American norm. Okay, let's do
Yes.
that.
Okay, that's exactly
Okay.
what I would say mine is.
Okay, good. Yeah,
So
yeah. Okay.
I try not to be a stickler when we're outside of the home because I honestly still try and consider other people and their situation. So if it's
Hmm.
offered, I do allow it, obviously because my kids aren't allergic to anything, but I do not purchase pop
Yeah.
or you say soda, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Midwest. Okay.
pop. And
Hmm.
then also, what else? We do make like lemonades and teas and things like that. No Kool-Aid or anything like that.
Mm-mm.
I never drank
I grew
Kool-Aid.
up on Kool-Aid. Wait, it was my grandmother though. She kept the Kool-Aid. And then she was so sweet too. Cause they didn't know. Like our grandparents, they didn't know. Like they got hooked on processed everything and it totally changed the
Right.
world. They were like, ooh, get this microwave. Ooh, you don't have to cook anymore. It's in a box. So she moved off the farm and fully embraced the processed food life. But no, I grew up on Kool-Aid, but we don't, I'm trying to keep the dyes away. I'm trying to keep all of that stuff away. But
Uh,
you can catch some lemonade or like a sweet tea, like a herbal tea. Yeah, we'll do that.
We love teas too.
Hmm.
So yeah, I like what you said about um not the American norm, but certainly not to the extreme. I think that's
Right.
where I like to. Um,
Okay, good.
you find it challenging to encourage your child to eat fruits and vegetables.
Honestly, no. And I think we pushed it really hard early enough that they embraced them. But then, everybody has their preferences. So some like my Asha, she's really like her dad. She doesn't like every kind of fruit. So you can catch her with the apple, you can catch her with the orange, and maybe that's it. But everybody else, the rest of us are really, really fruit heavy. Like my husband, for his fruit, you have to like sneak it into a salad or something. Like it's
Uh-huh.
funny. Or a smoothie. He'll do a smoothie, but just straight up fruit. That's a challenge for him and Asha. But the rest of us, we love our fruits. I got everybody kind of tired of watermelon this summer. I kind of OD'd on
Um,
watermelon. I OD'd, and Asha was like, I don't really want to eat it anymore because I had it like every day. But
I
it's not, I love it. Huh?
we did not have
Y'all didn't get any?
we barely had any seeded watermelons.
See, that's the search, right? This the seeded watermelons. And it was crazy. It's funny we're having this talk. It was crazy because for years, we were looking for them. Once we found out that, what was really going on with seedless, it was hard to find them. You had to go to farmers markets. You had to go, and it was only select grocery stores where we were where we could find them. It's
Yeah,
really
here
hard. So
too.
then y'all out in Colorado, because y'all not growing watermelons in Colorado, right? So they have to
We
come in
are.
from
No,
y'all
we are.
grow them.
Yeah, but it has been I found it 1 month. It was like maybe a good solid week at a grocery store.
Hmm.
And I took as many as I could. I took like three big ones and just used
Okay.
the same thing. Had they had it consistently in the store, my family would have been tired of the watermelon too.
Yeah, they retired. My
But
husband was
it's
like,
so, I mean, it's such a great fruit because of the hydration,
hmm
and people don't like drinking water. Like,
yeah,
good.
and
It's
I
perfect.
love it. Yeah, it's so good. I had to. You may laugh when I say this. He was like, "You can't treat don't be like a crackhead about the watermelon." But I got really obsessed because they were hard to find, and then once they started showing up, I was like, "Well, I have to eat as much of it as I can before they're
Yes.
gone,"
Yeah.
So it did something. I don't want to say something weird, but my metabolism is really tricky. So I think it kind of like put my metabolism into overdrive. And
Hmm.
he was like, "Babe, you're losing weight right now. Like, I need you to pause. I think that this isn't what you need." So he had to do a watermelon intervention.
I love
So
it.
that was funny.
I love it.
That good.
Okay, are you ready for the next one?
Okay, I'm
Now,
ready.
now we're
Okay.
gonna get into holidays because I'm gonna be curious about how you prepare for the holidays.
Okay, I'm probably gonna be so boring on this question. Okay, go ahead.
Does your family usually eat meals together during the holidays?
So yes, the holidays that we celebrate. I used to be big Christmas. I grew up Thanksgiving and the whole shebang. And it was really, really important to us. But as we've grown in our faith, we've really pulled away from a lot of the American and the calendar holidays that we celebrate for religious reasons. We do Hanukkah ish. Like if I get into it too much, some people will be like, "I don't believe what she believes. I don't agree." So I won't go into that too hard. But we do celebrate together. Not like as the big family that it used to be, because now we're not necessarily all on the same page, but we do take time to observe our holidays and observe our festivities with a special meal. And then on top of that, we observe Shabbat every week. So we really try to make that, a big family meal time to like a
Mhm.
celebration every week. But we do
We
take time to do that. Yeah, but
as we
Saturdays
do.
are our day.
Okay.
Saturdays are our day off. That's our day of rest. And so whenever possible, we like to do like a big meal on Friday that can last all of Saturday. And then, be a little festive. That's how we do.
Yeah, that's cool. And it's you don't have to wait so long in between holidays. If
Hmm.
you're still establishing a tradition that's more consistent,
Hmm.
um, that I think that's pretty cool, the volume that you're being intentional about that. So I love it.
Oh, thanks,
But
sis.
what I love about UBU early learning is that our children, and I've expressed this to you before, that Aurora is so diverse
Hmm.
that I love having the opportunity, regardless of how we're positioned in our faiths.
Hmm.
I love that my daughter will be able to learn about Ramadan or Hanukkah or, Easter or whatever it is coming from that family and their position because there's so
Hmm.
much to learn. And it's such a great way to um, just open up a world in the education system that just is more regulated when it comes to more traditional schooling.
Hmm. I
I love
agree.
that. We're here for that.
Yeah.
Do you feel confident about creating healthy eating habits during your holiday, the holidays that you observe?
So overall, I would say in general, we're just pretty healthy eaters. Like when we took the route of clean eating, when we went back to the Torah, and like, this is unclean, this is clean, we eat this, we don't eat that. So we're really strict about our diet as it is. So even when we like splurge, you might catch us frying chicken. I really like to fry chicken. You know what I mean? So sometimes I might lean towards fried more than we should. Um, and I love desserts. We really, really love desserts. So that sometimes I think sugar might be the weakness. Like I've been like, can I do a sugar fast? I don't know. Can I?
Mm-hmm.
Because I really need a cookie sometimes. But we try to have balance. So I know back in the day when I was living the traditional holiday life, it seemed like after every holiday meal I would be ill. Like I would be physically sick. And in retrospect now, I'm like, oh, well, look at what we were eating. It wasn't the good food. So now I would say overall, our meals are still going to be healthy. Like even if we do like roasted meats or we do It's usually still a lean cut of meat. We're going to have as many veggies as possible. I like to have a lot of raw salads or, um, like the condiment things like that are going to have radishes or
Right.
avocados or, we incorporate as many fresh foods as we can too. So I would say, yes, I'm fully confident about being able to be healthy. However, I would still like a good amount of desserts. So whatever points I lose for having a good amount of deliciousness with butter and sugar,
Mm-hmm.
then I understand if I lose those points. But we're going to have butter, we're going to have sugar.
I love it. I
I
like
love it.
that. I like that your definition of confidence is that you understand where your boundaries lie.
Hmm.
You know yourself, you know, what your practices are, but then you also know, like, no, this is what we want. This needs
Yeah.
like you gotta live YOLO.
Because I've been
You
right.
only live once.
Right. And I said, look, earlier today, I was like, do I believe in living before and living again, everlasting life? So YOLO, I'll be like, listen, I'm gonna live this to the max, but I'm gonna count on the hereafter as well.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna count on
It's
the
still life.
hereafter.
It still
It's still
goes.
life, right? But yeah, like sometimes like, am I eating too many cookies? I be like, it's six of us and we make a batch of cookies, a couple times a week, we're okay.
Yeah.
Um, but you'll be pushing for this level of excellence. Like you'll hear people and you'll see, I don't scroll anymore. I don't scroll as much as I used to because I'll be looking at everybody's plates like, oh, I can't cook. Oh, I want to do that. Oh, they're doing this. And I
Mhm.
just, got to live and be focused right now. But you will have standards and it might be the lady, like, is this lady, she posted, her refrigerator was laid out like as a salad bar. And I was like, that's what I want. That's what I need. Like, I want us to salad bar, salad bar, salad bar. But then my system can't necessarily handle that.
Yeah.
Right. So that's another discussion. Like earlier in life, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, which I now don't claim at all. I really realized they'll put diagnoses on things as being a disease when it's, I guess you could say, more of a condition. Like things can be changed by what we put into our bodies, versus saying, oh, you're sick, so now you need meds. It's, oh, you have this sensitivity or your body's lacking this or you need more of that. But my system, like if I eat too much of certain things, we're talking about food, so we can talk about wellness, right? It'll just go right through me.
Yeah.
So I might need more of the heavier things. I might need more rice. I might need more starch than some people. So you got to have a good balance. I feel like I went off on a tangent. I'm
No, no, no,
sorry.
no. That was no
Okay, it's
tangent
good. Oh,
whatsoever.
okay.
No, not at all. That was perfect because I mean, I feel like it is right in line with like your confidence, like you really know.
Man, we've been
Like
studying this
I would love
food.
my kitchen, I mean my fridge to do the same. Sometimes it is.
Okay, good.
Other
Because you're
times
plant-based, right?
I'm
You mostly plant-based?
well, I'm transition I used to be a vegetarian pre-kids
Okay.
and then after kids and then also at the time being married to someone who lived in the South and was very
Fried,
heavy,
right? Yeah.
meat heavy and things like that. I feel like that's where I honestly learned how to cook better.
Hmm. The
Um,
South will teach you. The South
how
will
to
let you
cut,
know how to make it
order,
delicious. Uh-huh.
this, seasonings, things like that.
Uh-huh.
I will never regret that. But then, as you were saying, like just understanding one, looking at my grandparents as well. My grandfather had a congestive heart failure, and was
Mm.
obese and continued to eat um,
That's my dad's story.
whatever he wanted. But
Hmm.
then at the same time, my grandmother did too and lived till she was 103 and completely healthy. So it was just a really interesting dynamic. I'm really thankful I had to see my elders and how like their lifestyle also translated into what we would think the inputs would turn into one thing, but honestly, like it just really depends. But I always I do think about, my grandfather who, he would take us to McDonald's in like the morning, stop at a gas station for snacks. We could get whatever we want. Then
Mhm.
good times for lunch. Then
Is
I'm
it?
serious. And then dinner,
No, it's for real.
gas
And this
place.
was and this was your grandfather, you said, and that's
Yes,
what he
my
would do.
grandfather.
So my grandmother on my father's side, she didn't really cook. I told you she took a hold of city life and she was like, "This is the business." Like she left the farm and did not look back. So she was at elementary. She taught kindergarten forever, but like Sunday dinner, you might catch a rotisserie from Kroger's. But you also most likely were gonna catch some KFC, like not KFC, Popeyes. Daddy
Oh,
wanted KFC.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, Popeyes.
yeah.
They had the better deals. So you're gonna get some Popeyes. We were in Houston, and it's crazy because when my husband came down after we got married, we went down there to visit, and my husband's blood pressure shot up crazy high because my dad wanted to take him to every fried chicken place. He was like, "Oh, you gotta taste this chicken. Oh, you gotta taste this chicken," you know. And we were not raised to eat well. We were just not raised to eat well. And I didn't even get chitlins like that. Like that part of my family didn't really do that. So even if you take that and compound it with the families that still eating that,
Yeah, my
and our legacy is soul food, and I understand us making wonderful tastiness out of horrible garbage, but now let's live and let's not eat the garbage.
yeah.
Don't be mad at me, chitlin lovers. I apologize, but I just want us to come up out of that.
Yeah, and I love that you say that, and I'd also add that I've been on this kick lately too. Once I know better, I'll do better, but shame is self-inflicted punishment.
Hmm.
And how can we be kind to ourselves in the process? Because I have been really working on being more strict on this plant-based journey.
Hmm.
But I was so emotional that, my daughter was baptized this weekend and
Oh, yay for the baby.
awesome, but then you want to go to brunch. And
Yeah.
so, and so I ate outside of the diet and everyone's like, "Oh, we thought you were." And so you deal with this whole like, I do want to be a good example, but I
Hmm.
also want to be a part. And I also know that, I
You want to
want
live
something.
and
Yeah. So
be a part of the community.
where
Maybe you can
my confidence in that? Or
maybe
where's my line is what I'm working on.
maybe you can have a happy balance. I'm gonna tell you, as an omnivore, I'll be trying to get you to eat a little bit of meat. So don't take me to be the one to tell you don't eat any of it. But even if it's in a balanced place, you know what I mean? Like we'll have this super strict 100% on point version of what it is that we want to do, right? And that goes for our to-do list, that goes for our meal plan, this perfection that we're chasing after. And then when we don't hit that perfection, then we're our own critic and we really, really suck and we failed at it totally and completely.
Hmm.
Versus saying, hey, this is what I'm shooting for. This is like this is what I know I cannot do that I'm strictly not going to do. Like I know we're not touching pork, we're not touching high fructose corn syrup. We read every label. I really, really, we do our best to not buy stuff that has that long list of ingredients. But sometimes the babies want some chips. And so,
Yes. Yeah.
sometimes we want some chips. Sometimes I want a chip. So even my husband and I will be, and we'll be in this battle of trying to be in perfection with our food, but we don't have our farm yet. Like we're not in control of every bit of food that comes into our world. So that's what we want long term, hopefully not too far. We want to be totally in control of our food chain, and we can't. Like we still live here. We live in America. So what can we do to not make our kids feel like we're total outcasts because
Right.
we're already not going to school with everybody. We don't necessarily go to church with everybody. You know what I
I
mean?
would, yeah, I'm sorry. I wanted to, since you jumped on late, but I would love for you to share who you are and
Oh,
you
yay.
are, how you show up in the education, how you've been showing up in the educational space with your own children and your family. And please plug all of what you're doing.
And plug all. Okay, yay,
Yes,
thank you.
please.
And you and I know we have to have another talk. Okay, so let me see my quick version. So my name is Yuda, Aziza Yuda. My friend Pandy, she said, "Tell I didn't even know your name was Aziza," and I was like, "See, that's my fault." So Aziza Yuda, my students, friends, they call me Z. I have been a homeschool mom for I don't know. I like to say since they were first born. My older two, they did maybe 2 to 3 years in public school, and now they're 14 and 15. So take 14 and 15, subtract those years, and that's how long we've been homeschooling. Um, we're really big on child-centered, interest-based learning. We're unschoolers at heart, but really working to also have the structure to make sure our kids have the foundation that they need to succeed, whatever that may look like. We started an online learning center. It's called Flowing River Center for Learning and Development. My grandmother, she's my education inspiration. So my grandmother, she taught kindergarten for all her teaching days. And then she taught Sunday school, the babies, until she couldn't teach it anymore. So she's my teacher inspiration. But then both of my parents had their masters in education and worked in the higher education field. My father taught African American history through theater. I'm just throwing stuff out there so you know we're really big on education in my family. But I started as a homeschooler. My background's actually in theater, but I was a super, super nerd. I got a full academic scholarship to Hampton University, graduated with honors. I thought that my mission in life was to go be a big famous actress and singer, but the father had other plans for me. And as soon as I saw my first little baby, I knew that's for the birds. I'm gonna do this mom
Yes.
thing. Did the art thing with my husband. So we did like the professional, not professional meaning rich or balling out of control, but professional grinding with the art. Did some stuff with some celebrities, left all of that behind because that's not what the father had for us. Really poured our hearts into education, into the kids, and into our comic book series, Adroit Comics, which Marpessa is going to work with me to help. We're going to get it out. Everybody's going to see it. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
But we have a Joy Comics for our young adults, tweens and teens, even grown-ups. If you're looking for something with the sound moral compass and exciting stories, then we're the people for you. It's really, really awesome. And then we also have our little kids books, Adroit Comics Junior, which I illustrated some of that too. So I'm tickled about that. Since we're on, I can hold it up because we got our
Yes,
proof.
please.
And I'm excited because this is the first time my art's been in print. So let me see if I hold it up. Okay, so
Yeah,
that's
that's what
DJ
you
on the
sent me.
front. Yeah, I sent you the link to that, right? Did I
Huh?
send it to you? Okay, good. So you got a preview issue for you to read with your baby. Um, but I have a whole series that we developed that I'm working to just get more and more stuff that's so it's ready to be published and it's not just in the art and story form. So I have a whole series with all the letters of the alphabet, specifically, of course, for the early learners that's reinforcing the letter sounds and they have their own little personalities. So yeah, so we publish. I teach online. I've been doing a lot of tutoring, but I'm shifting now away from the tutoring and more into the group sessions, especially for homeschoolers. We're also, I'm excited about this. We're in discussions with an organization based out of Georgia to be able to start offering services with kids in foster care. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah, I want to talk to you about that. So that's really cool. We're a little company with big heart, with big vision. Just, working to bring some smiles to the babies. I like working with students. The Comic Book Genius Project is the title of our initiative. And we're really pushing the use of comic books in education, especially for students that have been diagnosed. I don't like labels, but I'm using them because that's what everybody knows it to be. But students that have been diagnosed with dyslexia or ADHD, um, the kids that just have they like to give names to things, like it's kids who just really don't feel like it and they don't want to be bothered because they don't want to be there, but that's a syndrome now. So, that's a syndrome. So,
Right.
but for kids who just disengaged, a lot of them who are over it, like we really try to bring some excitement, bring some joy, bring some cool, epic stories that can help boost vocabulary, help boost engagement, and really overall, we're trying to transform lives. Like I have students that we worked with for a couple years now who came in and either they're at risk of being held back or needing reading intervention, and really being able to work with these children and see them now on the honor roll, see them shining and thriving. That's just been amazing. So I want to be able to do that on a larger scale, bringing more teachers, training tutors in the way that we've been doing things. Because even this was inspired by my husband, who he went through the special education system. So he was tested as a genius at kindergarten, first grade, and then in second grade, they said he had a reading disability. And then he was labeled special ed, and it was just a game for the rest of his years. So we want to keep that from happening as much as possible. Did I take up enough time? Did I say enough?
Actually, I wanted to talk to you about jumping on to doing a community workshop with us in January about the comic books.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
When we meet,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I wanted to add that we met through your tea times from
Yay, a
a
tea party.
Facebook post from a homeschooling Facebook group. Can't even remember which one because I'm in a lot of them.
Right, I'm in a lot of them
Um,
too.
I just want to say for those who are going to listen to the recording later, we're based in Colorado. The reason that I love the route that I'm going in the co-op slash homeschooling space is for a lot of the underlying themes that we're talking about around representation, around labeling,
Mm-hmm.
around embracing, not being late to the party when it comes to inclusion,
Mm-hmm.
and also challenging the existing public education school model because at some point it's going to need a lot of
A total overhaul, you mean?
overhaul. That is what it
Okay.
And the
Yeah.
only way that it's going to be an overhaul at this point is for us to, and we saw glimpses of it during COVID, where we were forced to have our
Mm-hmm.
children at school in what was, you know, what it used to be,
Mm-hmm.
back in prairie times, or, for us in even more of a disadvantaged situation where we were in segregation on plantations, if at all we were able to read. So
Right.
I like to make sure that my children understand the privilege and the luxury
Mm-hmm.
of having education in any form here in the
Mm-hmm.
United States. But then on top of that, the luxury of having us as parents
Mm-hmm.
to see and want to also encourage other families to find a way regardless. And so
Right.
for being here in Colorado, it was really important for me to find like-minded individuals, like-minded organizations. YbY Early Learning fell into my lap, and I'd love to share with you how that happened offline, but
Mm-hmm.
it also has spun into me wanting to do that everywhere I go and challenging families to say, even when you are, whatever school system you have decided, it's so important to build a support system either way, no matter
Right.
what. Don't wait until your child is labeled and then you're looking for an IEP. Create your own plan.
Mm-hmm.
So, your child is on their own and hopefully so excited about education they become um, lifelong learners. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that is off keel because it also includes the holistic thing of social and emotional is so tied into our nutrition and growth.
Ma'am. Yep.
And then, we even just talked about those undercurrents of trauma. And
Hmm.
so, what I wanted to do, and I had said this right before you got on, is that also this is about creating like a rubric of some strategies. And I wanted to share these strategies as a baseline um, that I recently learned as I've been through this process because I'm finding opportunities in my challenges that I'm having in my own home with cooking.
Hmm.
Um, so the first is called 52102 rule.
Okay. I'm listening.
So the first is eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables daily.
I like that.
2 is limit screen time to 2 hours or less per day.
Okay. I like that.
3 is ensure 1 hour of physical activity daily.
I'm liking this. Okay. Okay.
Pro is avoid sweetened drinks like soda, juice, and sports drinks. I
Hmm.
said, though, this is what I caveated it with. We were on the same wavelength, is
Hmm.
suggested alternatives is water down your versions,
Hmm.
create homemade electrolyte drinks with pink Himalayan salt or Celtic sea salt with some lime
Hmm.
and some lemon, and do your lemonade with your sweeteners that you were talking about earlier. So
Okay. Good.
again, 52102 rule.
Okay. I like that.
5 servings of fruits and vegetables. 2, limit screen time to 2 hours or less. 1, ensure 1 hour of physical activity daily. 0, avoid sweet and sugars drinks or create some alternatives around that. So yeah, and then I wanted to add on to this because it's the holiday season.
Hmm.
One thing that I do think is really important in any culture or celebration is the seasonings that we use.
Hmm.
I don't know any culture where that's not important when it comes to,
Right.
uh, comes to traditions.
Unless it's like you end up at somebody's house that they don't cook that well, but that's not really cultural. Some people they just don't cook that good.
But even with the, and I thought about that too because I was like, even with the salt, most
Hmm.
people go to the
Right. That.
salt, but considering sodium alternatives like the Celtic
Hmm.
sea salt that has over 80 trace minerals in
What
it,
happens in the Celtic? We usually try the Himalayan,
there's
and if
different kinds
at
of
minimum it's going to be sea salt. The preference is the pink Himalayan. I haven't tried the Celtic. I have to look at the Celtic.
definitely check out the Celtic. It's really helped with my skin. Well, as a birth worker too, when a lot of my clients are told that they have low iron, it
Hmm.
helps.
Wow. Okay.
Really good for iron. So thinking about ways to also use spices, and let's say keep what you're cooking. But if you are thinking like with pumpkin or sweet potato pie, sometimes
Hmm.
people put, certain seasonings in their clove for certain
Hmm.
stews and things like that. I put clove down because that's a common one. It's really good for inflammation,
Hmm.
also a good pain reliever. Um, you know,
Especially for your teeth.
um,
If you have a toothache, you put the clove on there. Hmm.
yes, drinking clove water for the weight loss. So I thought about clove, I thought about ginger, and I know we've talked about the teas. So like
Hmm.
you're on this wavelength just about ginger as a metabolism booster.
Hmm.
And it's just so good. It just has
It's
the
so good. If you have
you put that in your
the
drink.
ginger apple cider vinegar,
Mhm.
we usually do this during the winter months, and by the time it starts cooling down, we're like, oh, I miss it. When it starts getting hot, I'm like, okay, it's hard for us to drink it in the morning.
It's
But
true.
we usually do ginger, like grated ginger, cinnamon, apple cider vinegar, lemon, um if I want to push it, I'll put a pinch of cayenne. My husband, he doesn't
Uh-huh.
want the cayenne, but I'll put a pinch of cayenne, and that just helps. You can sprinkle some clove. You can put the nutmeg in there if you want.
I
Make
have
it
all of
real,
these.
and it is just so good for your immune system. And then you
Warm,
could do say that again.
warm.
Yeah, yeah. And then sometimes I'll sip on it during the day too, whatever I didn't finish. Um, but then I'll say I'm on a tangent. But then there's this soup that I made. I had a terrible like viral infection one year, and it was just this super mega spicy soup, and it knocked it right out. So there's so much to be said about the spices and the herbs
Yes.
when it comes to your health. So I won't give you the soup recipe right now, but I was
Yeah,
gonna
no,
keep going with that.
it seems like we're just going to be consistently talking until the next year.
Yeah.
But I did put cayenne, and I put cayenne also because of it starts heart attacks.
Ooh, I
Yes,
can see that.
yes, it will disrupt like any onset of a heart attack. I'm glad that you mentioned cinnamon. That's also good for blood pressure.
And diabetes, right? And for your blood sugar.
Yes, yes. And so let's say you do like to have sugary drinks, just incorporating more cinnamon or things like that into your diets and explaining to your kids like the benefits of spices
Hmm.
so that it's something that registers in their head. There's so many fun activities you can do around smell the cinnamon, ooh, taste it. What
Hmm.
does it look like? What color is it? And not in a way of food is something we play with, but food is something we play with.
Yeah, it's life. Like it really is. And that's why I can't wait till we get to grow. I know I'm not a super farmer yet, but I feel like when we just were able to do it, it's just gonna be so amazing.
Hmm.
And we as humans, quote unquote, modern humans are so removed from our food chain. Like we're removed from our food cycle and we just don't even know like where it's coming from. How does it get to the table? Is it good for me? Like we just grew up with people putting food in front of us, that's like going through the drive-through, putting it in the microwave with just no concept of what we were doing to our bodies.
Hmm.
So I feel like you and other moms like us are really working to rewind and go back in time. Like I want to go back before my grandmother
Hmm.
because she got sucked up into this modern wave of doing things. Like she was nuking it until she had a pacemaker and she couldn't nuke it anymore.
Yeah.
So I want to go back beyond that, like where it's just real food, where
Mhm.
everything that we put in our body is real food and we know that it's real food. And we understand it, we feel it, we smell it, we picked it, we grew it, we ground it, that's my dream. That's
I
really my
love
dream.
it. Let's plug in together.
But yeah, let's do it. We're gonna
Yes.
do
And
this. Yeah, we're
you
gonna
this
do
year,
it.
we had our first garden, Mr. Javier.
Oh, yay.
Fantastic. He headed that up, and we've even had the kid, and me too, have eaten some of that
Hmm.
food that was harvested as well as went through, severe weather storms and what that was like, and how do you recoup, like the real ins and outs of gardening. The kids and staff were able to be real participants in that. So shout out to Aurora Housing and Peoria Crossing where they gave us like a plot of land with their little.
Yay.
It's really cool.
That's awesome.
And then the other strategy that I wanted to
Are
bring
you
up.
gonna email this or you gonna
Yeah,
post
I
it? What is
can.
our
No,
strategy?
you know what?
Okay.
I will. I'll email you, and then I'm just gonna have it in general because I know we're gonna continue to revisit.
Mm-hmm.
Our next session is gonna be on brain development in December, so we're not doing,
Okay, that's awesome.
but we're gonna do another one in December. Um, is the 3 and 3 rule. So 3 meals a day,
Hmm.
avoiding cycles of starving and stuffing.
Can you say that again? Because I'll look up and it'll be 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I'll not have eaten anything. Okay, say that again because
So it's
we
the
all need
3 and 3 rule, 3 meals a day, avoiding cycles of starving and stuffing.
that. Mm-hmm.
Use meals to discuss children's social and emotional connections to food.
Mm-hmm.
So, when it comes down
Okay.
to one way that I try and navigate with my daughter when she says she's so hungry and I'm offering her something to eat and she says no, then I know it's because she's looking for something in general.
Hmm.
She may not really be hungry or and she has a hankering for it. So instead of, saying you're hungry, I mean, you're
You like something to eat.
navigate, right.
Hmm.
Navigate, do you want to eat this because it's something you want, or are you actually hungry? Is it
Hmm.
something you don't like? And so you're wanting, just trying to gauge that and check in with them about just like they're emotionally like, okay, why are you wanting to eat this? Is it because you're missing something in your diet? Because you missed a meal? Helping them think through that.
Hmm.
The next one is, and I don't necessarily agree with this one, so I created an alternative as well.
Okay.
That's 3 glasses of milk a day, low fat or 1% milk. But I suggest fortified almond milk, a goat milk, a soy milk, a rice milk. But
I'll work on that one.
I am not a dairy person when it
No,
comes.
I'm not either. I mean, you catch me with my butter or some yogurt, but just drinking milk, that's so
I know.
funny.
It,
There's this there's this movie called, what time is it? I know. Look, I'm keeping track for your
me
thing because I'm
too.
gonna have to hop off.
Another time.
There's this movie called is it I think it's called Unfrosted, and it's the Jerry Seinfeld movie. I think it was on Amazon. It was an Amazon original, and it's all about like how it's a comedy, right? But you know, these comedies, these crazy movies, they'll be laced with truth. So I
Mhm.
won't call out all the truth that I saw in this film, but there's this one part, and they talk about the milk cartel and how it's like the milk mafia. Let me not sound like conspiracy theorist, but anyway, how they really, really push this milk to America, so the milk is subsidized, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, it's a funny movie. If you see it, I think you really enjoy it. It's really funny, but it's like this milkman, he keeps showing up threatening them because they're making Pop Tarts, and Pop Tarts removes the milk from needed in the cereal. So he was like threatening them or whatever. But
So,
so, needless to say, that made me feel a little queasy just now when you said 3 glasses of milk, because we wouldn't even know how to do that here.
I haven't bought milk in so long.
We use it in cakes. We use it for cooking. Like my girls do, like enjoy a cup of coffee here and there. They like a little bit of coffee, so but I can't drink coffee. I'm not good with coffee and plant milk. Like if it's coffee, I need cow milk, but if it's tea, I like coconut milk. I know I'm weird like that,
And
but
yeah, and I told you I like matcha tea, and I told him I was
yeah,
like,
you got your matcha.
I know, and I did tell her I was like, you know what, if you're gonna do it, do whole milk. But my stomach was feeling
Your
it.
stomach felt it, right?
Yes, but the thing is that as someone who is a huge breastfeeding advocate,
Mm-hmm.
when having discussions with Wick, who pretty much lead with parents can choose what they want to do.
Right.
But I had a WIC representative tell me that the reason they push milk so much is because of lobbying.
Oh, see? So you just confirmed the movie. I know it is. But then if you go ahead and you look at the facts about it, when it comes to the milk, they'll say, oh, vitamin D, vitamin D. You can get as much more vitamin D by getting 30 minutes outside in the sunshine. So let's knock that vitamin D fallacy out. And it's building up your mucus. And it's homogenized. Don't get me started. You see, I've been studying this a lot. And then so homogenized is something totally different from raw. Because if you say, hey, let's do raw milk, then that's a whole different beast than the grocery store milk, right? But that's interesting that she
Isn't
told you
it?
that that's
I mean, you can do
lobbying.
cashew milk. There's like so many different ways that you can get your
Yeah.
nutrients without feeling like, and again, strategies uh,
Mm-hmm.
to help make sure you are getting your calcium and your vitamin D and
Mm-hmm.
understanding like your calcium and your vitamin D are very important together.
Yeah.
Things like that is so overwhelming for us as families that it's important for us to, yes, talk to our doctors about it, but also do your own research
Yeah.
And then just make a decision. This is what it's going to be. Ask for blood work, do what you need to do and make adjustments as necessary.
Yeah, and do your I'm about the holistic. We haven't been to a Western doctor and I don't know how many years, probably since the last time a baby was born in our house. Like just I did
That's
so many
awesome that
years
you're able
in
to
and out
know
of
what
the
it is.
hospitals.
Mhm,
Hmm.
mhm,
Yeah, I did growing up. I wasn't well, like I said, with UC. So, I mean, I had an extended hospital stay at least once a year, like through high school. Like, I got out of the hospital right before graduation one year. So, I was like, you know what? Y'all have got enough of my blood samples. Y'all got enough of my time, enough of my energy, and pumped me with enough of that poison that I really don't want anything to do with you. So, we may have had like a couple brushes where maybe, it was something that we had to go there for. But as far as like their medicines, their pills, any of that stuff, we just really do our best to be all natural.
yeah,
So,
I love
this is not me saying don't go to the doctor. You're not gonna say that Miss Z told y'all that. That's not what I'm
right.
saying.
No,
But
oh, go ahead.
take it with the whatever they say, do your own research because even given their training, their insurance, the system that they work within, they can only tell you stuff that they're allowed to tell you.
Mhm,
So like if I say, "Hey, have you heard of bentonite clay and how it'll detox and it'll draw the toxins out of your blood and it'll help rebalance your
mhm.
system?"
Your
Or if you have an infection, you can put some clay on it and it'll help draw out that infection or
body,
then the FDA is going to say that hasn't been proven.
right?
So that's not something that your doctor can recommend. So, not Socrates. Who's their one that they love? It might be Socrates. No, Hippocrates,
No,
the
sorry.
father of modern medicine. Is it Hippocrates? Not Hippocratic. Yeah, Hippocrates, the Hippocratic oath. So Hippocrates said that man is their own doctor, that you are your own best doctor. Right? So things have changed even when it comes to the Hippocratic Oath. The original Hippocratic Oath is different from what they take now. So just in knowing that you are your best doctor, if you arm yourself with the knowledge and the information that the Father's given us the tools for
I love it.
it.
Well, just wrap it up.
Okay, good. This
Uh,
was nice.
I am so
I,
happy that
I feel like I took over your show,
no,
Miss
no, no, no. That's what
Miss
it's
Marpessa.
about is having dialogue because we value it. Like what we
Good. I'm
have
glad.
collectively is we value it, and that's what a co-op is about. Like there's no hierarchy, and
Well, right
it's
on.
you know what are your strengths? What do you know? How do we do this together? Um, and the last section that I have that I just wanted to share, which is super short, is not necessarily what you're eating, but how you're managing what you're eating.
Hmm.
And that is to tackle managing holiday overeating. One recommendation is eat fruit 30 minutes before a meal to prevent overeating. And it's also not good to eat fruits and a meal at the same time because it does disturb the metabolism order.
Hmm.
Um, Avoid drinking liquids with meals to improve digestion for the same reason. The order is really
My
important.
husband was just talking about that. We were just
And
talking
waiting
about
a while
drinking when you
after.
finish. Yeah.
Mhm. And then I learned this recent. Walk for 10 minutes immediately after meals to aid digestion and burn calories. It's more effective than just saying, hey, I'm going to walk today. Because
Okay, right after
I
the meal.
eating after meals, walking 10 minutes a day is more effective than, let's say, you walking an hour just at your regular time if you're trying to do digestion. So that's literally only 30 minutes a day immediately after could perhaps, from what I learned, be more
Mhm.
effective than your 10,000 steps.
Interesting. I
10,000
have to
steps are
spread
still
that
important.
word.
But if you're wanting to work on digestion and things like that,
Hmm.
and maintaining a healthy body weight, and also just working, I mentioned before that I've worked in policy. this, and you even were like, "Are you from Boulder?" And I was, or you were like, "Are you from Boulder?" I was like, "No, it's kind of actually it's not close,
It's
but
not. I just knew it
I
wasn't Denver.
appreciate." Well, I was going to say what I appreciate about Boulder is they're very health conscious. And I worked on a bill called Healthy Boulder Kids. So the city of Boulder ran this bill, generated the bill, got so many signatures in the city to be able to pass it with the city so that they're charged a sugar tax so that they're able to fund for juvenile diabetes within the city to
Oh,
care for kids,
wow.
especially ones who
Okay.
can't afford it. So more kids who can't afford all that they need for diabetes, but it also
Mhm.
includes education to talk about how to prevent that in the school system. So I
Okay,
really
that's good.
love that model. And if you're gonna do sugary drinks, absolutely tax it like you do cigarettes would be awesome.
They're
But
gonna be mad about it, but I hear them.
culturally, it's just different. So those were my little resources, and we literally went right up until the time. So I really appreciate that you were on today and very interactive.
Yay! I'll
Um,
be here on the 19th. I'll plan for it.
yeah.
December 19th, right?
Oh, well, actually, it's going to be December 17th.
Okay.
But I was
Okay,
sending the
good.
info, and I also want to make sure offline that we meet just to talk about some more maybe times that we can do workshops together because this is a great dialogue.
Yay, I
Um,
agree. So when we get off, I'll email you because I need to get
yes,
your phone
please.
number and stuff too again.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Ziza. I appreciate you as always.
My pleasure. I feel like a special guest, so count
Yes, you
me in.
were.
I look forward to more exciting things. And you see, when it comes to food, I'll talk.
Me too.
I'll talk all day.
I love that. So it's all important. Anything that we're
Yes.
putting in our mouth. So just learning how to do better and also teach better when it comes to the next generation. Make our
Right
ancestors
on.
proud.
Yay, let's make them proud.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for my invite, and we'll catch
Thank
up really
you.
soon.
Yes,
You're
have a great
welcome.
evening.
You too. Y'all
All
be
right.
blessed.
All
Thanks,
right.
Marpessa.
Bye
Bye.
bye.